I think there could be a nuclear, and by nuclear I'm using a metaphor here, a nuclear card that China could use vis-a-vis gold, but also that the US could use vis-a-vis treasuries. And either of them would destroy the integrity of the US dollar and the whole fiat currency system that we have as a whole. There's a lot of speculation, of course, that the Chinese could be fighting back this 104% tariff, which is crazy that the US has imposed as of today on China. They could start unloading treasuries, and that hurts the US Treasury, of course, because they have debt up to here, and the cost of paying that debt, paying the interest is rising. It's risen since Friday. It's risen, well, if we take 4.5%, that's $65 billion since Friday. And I saw a comment from the White House or President Trump that they're making $2 billion a day from tariffs. Well, that's a drop in the ocean compared to the moves in the Treasury market. So yeah, there's that old saying, the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. And that's one thing that I noted a few days ago in one of my videos, that, yeah, you can tinker with tariffs and say, oh, we're going to get this from this country, from that. But you can't control what countries are going to do. They're not part of the domestic United States. They can react whatever way they want. But I think there could be a nuclear card that China could use vis-a-vis gold, but also that the US could use vis-a-vis treasuries. And either of them would destroy the integrity of the US dollar and the whole fiat currency system that we have as a whole. Maybe that's the intention of the Trump administration. He did say some months ago that he wanted to obliterate the national debt. Well, how do you do that? Well, you destroy the currency. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe that's why China has been buying so much gold. And talking about gold right now, that's one of the cards, the nuclear cards that China has, is to reveal to the world how much gold it actually has. We've got an official figure of 2,290 tons, which is a joke. And this is not me talking. It's analysts like Alistair McLeod, Ronan Manley, Dominic Frisby, many other people have done a lot of research about how much gold, China produces a year. China is one of the biggest producers a year, and the fact that they never export any of the gold. And some estimates put China's gold reserves, be it from the central bank and state-owned entities, and this is not counting the public. They put the reserves at over 30,000 tons. So it's weird that as far as the U.S. goes and their reserves, there's always a doubt that there's a lot less and that it's not there. But with China, it's the other way around. So their nuclear card vis-a-vis this whole tariff war is coming out and saying, we've decided to tell the world that we have X amount of gold. It's not the 2,290 that the World Gold Council reports. And why would that be bad for the dollar? Well, because the anti-dollar is gold. And if your major economic competitor has 32,000 tons and there's doubt whether you have 8,000 tons, you can bet that the dollar is going to get hammered. The price of gold will go through the roof. And that's how that's reflected. The collapse of the dollar is the move up in gold. So that's the Chinese nuclear card. And they could have used it maybe years ago. But I think the Chinese are they're very good negotiators, contrary to maybe President Trump's belief that he's the top guy in terms of getting a deal. I think the Chinese they've got a lot of experience over the millennia. As I said, I think the public is totally asleep, not just in the United States, but here in Europe, to what's going on and how serious the situation is. Some people are talking about the possibility of a 1929, 1930s style crash and depression. That's possible. That's very possible, because if you destroy this global system that we've had since 1944 and since the beginning of the century with China and WTO, if you destroy it overnight, it's not gradual. It will mean loads of bankruptcy, and the top bankruptcy, of course, will be the U.S. Treasury. And that's another reason why you want to have physical gold and silver. And I mean, I can't emphasize how important that is to have some of that outside the system, because, yeah, it's not going to get better. And as I speak today, here, it's 8:22 a.m. London time. Gold is at 3,045, up $62. So maybe people are starting to wake up. I don't know. Maybe not. It's up 2%. We've got even silver coming up now. It's up 1.85% at 30.37. The stock market was down a lot more earlier on. Right now, it's kind of just lower by very little. But for example, the Dow future got down to 36,690. We're now at 37,550. So it was down like almost 1,000 points earlier. And I expect continued volatility. I think there were some comments here from Chinese officials that they one of them is China urges dialogue with the U.S. to resolve trade disputes. And I also saw China Foreign Ministry on U.S. tariffs. The U.S. continues to abuse tariffs to pressure China. China firmly opposes this and will never accept this kind of bullying. So there we go. We'll have to see how President Trump responds. And I think he's not going to budge, because if he does, he'll lose face, and he'll lose, of course. So what else is there that I wanted to speak about? Let's have a quick look. Oh yeah, on the freezing of reserves. Yeah, the United States did that to Switzerland during World War II. And Switzerland was a friend. Well, technically neutral, but a friendly country. So it's not out of the realms of the possibility that they might think of freezing China's treasury reserves, but that would be really, all hell would break loose in the financial markets, in the currency markets, and gold would be unobtainium. I think gold and silver.
Everyone needs to hit pause and stare the facts in the face. If you live in America, it's time to question what that dollar in your pocket is really worth. China holds a weapon it hasn't even used yet, one that could shake the entire planet, simply revealing how much gold it actually owns. Officially, Beijing claims about 2,290 metric tons, but experts whisper the real figure could top 30,000 tons. That disclosure would be a geopolitical bomb. Picture this. One morning, China steps up and says, "Surprise, our gold stash is far bigger than anyone thought." Instantly, faith in the dollar crumbles and gold prices go ballistic. Every American would learn, painfully, how little those green bills are really worth. Throughout history, true power has always been measured in gold. Paper money is just government promises on fancy ink. Right now, markets are trembling, investors are jittery, and the world economy is tiptoeing along a cliff edge. China's silent, years-long gold hoarding has a crystal-clear objective: knock the dollar off its throne as the world's reserve currency. If that happens, America's economic dominance gets filed under history.